Hey, thanks for meeting me here again as we go through the book of Proverbs together. Proverbs chapter 1 is where we are. Proverbs 1 ends with a promise, Proverbs 1:33, that says that whoever listens to me, whoever listens to wisdom, dwells securely, is at ease, and doesn't dread disaster. And that's where we all want to be right now. But did you hear the first part of that verse? It says, whoever listens. And so Proverbs 1 is asking us a question. I'm asking you and myself this question right now is what are you listening to? What are you hearing? What's drowning out wisdom? What noise is so loud for you right now that it's drowning out wisdom, drowning out fear of the Lord, that's leaving you dreading disaster, leaving you insecure and uneasy? Well, in Proverbs chapter 1, we see at least two sources of noise. Look at Proverbs 1, verse 10. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. And if they say, come with us, let us lie for weight in blood. Now, the particular sin that Proverbs 1, 10 through 19 is talking about is the sin of unjust gain, of taking advantage of people for your own gain. But I think this could apply to any sin. That sin is enticing. Sin is saying, come with us. And the truth is even maybe especially in times of isolation where you're apart from people, you're tempted by all sorts of sins. You look to things for security. You look to things to put you at ease, whether that's some sort of vice or it's worry or whatever it may be. You can think of it in your own life, something that is so noisy that it's causing you to not trust in the goodness of God, the sovereignty of God, the comfort of God. And so I wonder if there's a sin right now that's enticing you that says, come with me. That's noise. It's drowning out wisdom. Don't listen to it, because here's the consequence of that. At the end of Proverbs, of this section of Proverbs 1:17, it says, "For in vain a net is spread in the sight of any bird, but these men lie in wait for their own blood, and they set an ambush for their own lives." And so here's what the writer is saying: that birds are smart enough not to fly into a net, not to fly into a trap. But the foolish one who hears the call of sin, who's enticed by sin, you're going into a trap. You're setting a trap for yourself. And such are the ways, it says in verse 19, is everyone who is greedy for unjust gain. It takes away the life of its possessors. And so let me encourage you right now, if you're hearing the noise of sin, whether it's greedy gain or any sin, you're setting a trap for yourself. You're not putting yourself at ease. You're not putting yourself in a place of security and not fearing disaster. You're doing the opposite. So if sin is enticing you, don't listen to that noise. Listen to what it says in verse 20. Wisdom cries aloud in the street, in the markets, at the entrance of the city. And then it says, how long, in verse 22, O simple ones, will you love being simple? How long will scoffers delight in their scoffing, and fools hate knowledge? Here's what Proverbs 1:20 is saying: that in the everyday places of our lives, in the streets, in the markets, at home, when you're trying to work and whatever else, there are all sorts of things that will cause noise, that will be distracting, not necessarily sinful things. Just the everyday particulars of your life will get you so busy that you will forget to listen for wisdom and walk in wisdom. And so what I ask you now is your new reality, is all the distractions that are coming your way right now, are you able to hear the voice of wisdom through that? If you can't, the Bible says when terror strikes, when calamity comes, when distress and anguish come, they will call upon wisdom, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, and they will not find me. And so I want to encourage you to listen for wisdom, to listen to the voice of the Lord, to read the scriptures often, to pray often, to talk to other believers so that they might give you wisdom and help you to walk in wisdom, because the noise of sin is going to be very loud for you. The noise, even though things are quiet in that we're not out in the streets and things like that, it's still going to be noisy. And if you don't listen, if you don't learn to walk in wisdom now, when future calamity comes, when future trials come, you won't be prepared for those moments. So what are you listening to? What are you hearing? What's enticing you? Would you hear the voice of the Lord that says, "Come to me, all who are weary, all who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest"?